Welcome to the Boomer Briefing podcast, where we help you solve a critical business issue in 20 minutes or less. I'm your host, Jim Boomer, shareholder and CEO at BoomerConsulting. And with me today is a special guest, Lisa Foley. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for being on this episode of the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Jim. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. Lisa is the managing member at Baldwin CPAs, and so today we're going to be talking a little bit about a number of things. But I thought we could start off. Maybe Lisa, you can tell us about yourself and a little bit about your journey to being named as managing member at Baldwin.
Sure, I'm happy to. I actually am probably one of the odd situations. I have always been at Baldwin. I came here as a freshman intern and started working while I was in college and have not left. So that is 30 years later. I'm still here and have rolled into the managing member role the first of this year. So it's been a great ride. I feel like I've got quite a few years still left in me, but I love this firm. I've been here forever, and it's just been a really good place to learn and grow. And now I want to help others do that as well.
Well, it is a great place. I love your team, and so maybe outside of work, tell us a little bit more about who Lisa Foley is. What do you like to do? Hobbies, travel, family, anything like that?
Yeah, so I am married for 26 years. The reason I ended up in Richmond is I guess I followed a boy here. So I'm married to my high school sweetheart. Actually, his dad was my basketball coach in high school. So we just kind of kept high school going, and here we are. Have 4 nieces and nephews. We enjoy spoiling them and being cool Aunt Lisa and Uncle Tim. But beyond that, love to travel. We love visiting national parks. I've hit every state but Alaska to this point. And then I love to cook and entertain. So that's something we really enjoy, having people at our house. And it doesn't really stress me out to cook for 25 people. I'm good for that.
You're cool under pressure.
Yeah.
That's good for the role you're taking on here. So as you said, you took over at the beginning of the year as managing member. But as I know, and probably others that have gone through succession planning, it has to start well before that. So from your perspective, how has the transition gone so far? Any advice for the audience on what worked really well and what you wish you kind of had a do-over button for?
Yeah, so we actually, this process, as you well know, has been going on for a while. Alan Long, our prior managing partner, really probably approached me about this about 3 years ago. And so that we kind of laid it out early, got the blessing, I guess, of the partner group that they were in agreement with that, so that there was really no question how the transition would look as his time to retire came about. So it's went, this first 6 months have been really well, but I think it's because we've worked on it for a long time. Some of the things that I think that have been really helpful is I had a third party outside succession coach that has really been with me about 1.5 years, helped me do a 360-degree evaluation so I could see feedback on things I needed to work on before this role started. So I think that's been good. And that's also been a good, safe place for me outside of my partner group to have that conversation of roadblocks or adversities along the way for her to kind of help guide me in that. So I think that has really been a key to that. And then I think also timelining it out. So even though I took over January of 23, I didn't take on all duties, right? Alan is still here for this whole year. And so there are some things, instead of turning a light switch and dumping everything on me at once, we have phased those things in. So there's been some gradual things to the process. I took over the HR and those management things. right off the bat, but there's some things we're just going to do along the way this year to not be overwhelming. And while Alan's here, he can fill that role. So we should make use of that. So that's went really well. I think the thing for our firm is we really probably should have started working harder on developing people to fill voids earlier on. And probably the do-over on that is like I haven't been able maybe to hand off client work as fast as I needed to. So I'm still doing quite a bit of that. And I think that's a problem in our whole profession. You had COVID thrown in this timeline. So I think, we do have a little bit of a void there that I wish we had just really started focusing on that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, well, those are both great pieces of advice. I would say they're related too. Your biggest success and your wish for a do-over are both about prep and planning, and doing it so it's our profession. I would agree across our profession, it's a challenge. But I would say every organization has this tendency to fall in and think about succession planning, and they really only look at the top of the organization, the CEO, the managing partner, member. But really, we should all be doing succession planning to develop that pipeline of leadership that will always be there and ready for when we move up, that they can move up too. So great advice for the audience. And now I know we've been working together for many years. I actually did some research before we hopped on here. I was like, how long has it been?
I kind of tried to think about it, so I'm going to be curious to see what you say.
Yeah. So in terms of strategic planning and being involved in that process, it's now been 10 years. But I looked back and I think there was some prep work getting the firm to the point where they were ready there that actually dates back 18 years. So there's quite a history. But I'd like to hear from your perspective. You guys have shown a real commitment to not just doing it every few years, but every year looking at the vision, doing a strategic plan. And so from your perspective, how has this impacted the success of the firm?
So, in the 30 years I have been here, probably in the last 20 years, I think we've done 7 mergers.
Yeah.
So, we have strategically grown. So I feel like strategic planning has been an integral part of that because it really lays our roadmap out. And as you all have encouraged us and we've embraced, just one page, write it down, and it's our roadmap for the firm. And if, there's going to be some things that pop up that are important that aren't on there and we have to deal with, but it really narrows our focus. This is what we said was important. So let's let all the noise outside of this stay away and really just focus on these are the things. If we accomplish all of this within a year, or honestly, I think as Gary said early on, is if we accomplish 80% of what's on there, we're going to be super happy. So I really feel like it's just the roadmap that has helped our firm grow and evolve over the years. And it keeps us all focused on it and pulling in the same direction. And I just feel like it really, you can't manage what you can't measure. So if you don't write it down, you really haven't committed to it. So I feel like it really is also the roadmap of our accountability for our partner group and for our staff and team to know these are the things that really are important to us. And we've got to put our extra effort into these items, not because it's real easy to get distracted.
Yep.
And we just kind of have to let that pull us back together to keep us on pace for what we really want to accomplish in that year.
Yeah, and you mentioned accountability, and that's a huge part of it. And if we think of it, we often will, if we're talking to a firm we haven't worked with before, we'll ask first question what they have in terms of a strategic plan and vision, and almost everybody says, yeah, we have that. And then you say, well, is it documented and shared with the team? And a lot of times it's up here. But going back to the accountability piece, when we keep things like what we want our business to be and how we're going to get there between our own two ears, our level of accountability isn't very high because the easiest person to let down is yourself.
Yeah, and
And
I think it's accountability a lot of ways, right? It's accountability as a partner group. This is what our focus is, but then we also take that and share that with the whole firm, and have that meeting. So we're also, committing to our
yeah,
team. These are the things, and as you know, there are different initiatives on there that are focused at improving our culture, improving our one firm concept. So it really, it's us making a commitment to our team
yep,
that we're trying to make their lives better as well. It's not just partner focused at all. And
exactly.
what's been nice about it is, we probably did it 5 years just at that top firm level, but what we have seen over the years, it has trickled down as we became more departmentalized. And for instance, our CAS department that we call Elevate, they started creating their own strategic plan based off that similar format that feeds into the firm one. And so then assurance followed suit. And so it's really just helped everybody a roadmap to get to those destinations that we've identified on there.
Yeah, yeah. You got to get it out of here, document it, and then as you pointed out, share it among the team. And now it's a whole lot harder to let your fellow partners down and the team than it is just yourself as a leader. So we live it too. We don't just help firms with their strategic planning. We do it every year too, and for all the same reasons that you highlighted. Um, so what do you see as the three biggest opportunities for Baldwin over the next, say, 3 years?
Yeah, so I think alluded to our CAS department. I think our Elevate department, we've continued to see growth there. Got to get our capacity in line with that growth that's available. But we've seen a real need. There are a lot of staff shortages out there, not only for our profession, but for our small business clients. They can't fill accounting positions either. So I really think that outsourced CFO type work is a huge opportunity for us, and we've been juggling the growth there this year, trying to manage capacity. So I think that's a really great area for us. Secondly, I think AI, anything AI related, we've got to figure out how to embrace that from our assurance to our outsourced bookkeeping, accounting work. How can we level out our workload, use this automation to better our team and our firm, and really hopefully give some more work-life balance back that we've been trying to do. So I think that's a real focus for us and an opportunity to embrace that and really just be different than everybody else. Like, let's embrace it. Let's not be afraid of it. Some of it's going to work, some of it's not, but we've got to try something different or nothing changes.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I think really it kind of falls in with our Elevate department, but just taking consulting to the next level, getting away a little bit from our compliance work. And I think COVID laid the groundwork for some of that consulting for us very well. So, really full service in doing consulting, helping our small businesses, you know, put the compliance in there with it. That's an important part, but really just helping find ways for our clients to be successful, whether that's, adding some wealth services into them, strategic planning. We've done some strategic planning for our clients because we've embraced it so much. So just really laying out that consulting and trusted advisor to the next level for our clients is a big opportunity. And where we're seeing that is some with more this family office effect, right? Where you're helping a whole family with their multiple businesses and just really being a one-stop place for them on everything.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. The more we can move, the stuff that clients have to have, they have to have, but it's not their highest value. And as you point out, like the things they want, and if we can educate them that we can be the answer to those challenges or opportunities, those are the things they want, and they tend to be more profitable, more exciting to work on too. So those are three great opportunities. Well, I want to make sure we don't miss out on mentioning Baldwin was recognized recently, being named as a 2023 regional leader for the Southeast region by Accounting Today. So first off, a big congratulations and applause for you and your team. And second, any thoughts on what you attribute this well-deserved recognition?
I think the biggest measure of that is revenue, right? I think that's one of the things they look at. And so how did we get there? I think I really thought about that, and I thought, probably the word that comes to mind for me most is agility. We've alluded to COVID a couple times, but the year that the benchmark this was really during that time. And as a partner group, we are very agile in, okay, we got to stop, time out. We can't, what are we going to do for our clients? They're asking us about PPP. They're asking us about ERC. And I feel like our partner group, we really have a high level of trust. And we said, okay, we're going to pivot, right? Taxes are going to have to hold, and our clients need this service. And it really kind of goes hand in hand with that consulting we just talked about. None of us knew anything about PPP or ERC, but as a partner group, we trusted in ourselves that, hey, we're smart cookies. We can do this. And we pivoted, we provided the service, and we had the courage to bill it on value, not hours times rates, which we're used to in our profession. Yep. And it really provided us some really good revenue growth. And I think that agility, we weren't afraid. And let's pivot, let's try something different. This is what we need to be doing right now. And the group as a whole did that very well together. And I think that's really what helped catapult us up into that, into making the jumps we did for 22.
Yeah. And I would add on to that, going back to one of my earlier questions, I think all the work and the consistency in planning and having strategic discussions puts you in a way better position to be able to pivot. And when you have to make a drastic change, all of a sudden, it's usually not what you expected that was causing it, which none of us foresaw what was going to happen. But you've been talking about things that have an impact on the success. And so, no, it's great to see you guys made that list. And again, congratulations. So, well, as we wrap up here today, I want to say thank you so much, Lisa, for your time. It's always great to talk to you, and I know our audience appreciates hearing your insights. So thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to talk about it. We're passionate about transition in our firm. We've went through a lot, and so I'm happy to share with anybody that has questions down the road. We're pretty open book about how we've went about it, and I'm glad to share, and glad you thought we were worth sharing. So we appreciate that.
You definitely are. So, and for our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, we release new episodes every Tuesday morning. We talked to Lisa today and got to know her and Baldwin CPAs a little more. We cover topics related to leadership, process, technology, talent, and growth. What all the topics have in common is that they are crucial to your firm's success and helping you solve a critical business issue in 20 minutes or less. So if you liked what you heard, please subscribe, and thank you all for listening.